Great. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Today we're joined by a few gentlemen from VABeachBio. They're going to be kind of going over VABeachBio and their program, giving us an overview. We're joined today by Steve Harrison and David Couch. They are the they head the business development over at VABeachBio, and they'll be giving you guys an overview of sort of their offerings and kind of explaining, why Virginia Beach. So a few housekeeping notes before we get started. On the one hand, if you at any point do lose audio, the best way to really come back is just to refresh the page. That typically works. And we're going to save questions to the end of the presentation. However, just so you guys don't lose your questions, please enter them into the chat box. There's a tab on the right-hand side. So please enter your questions in the chat box on the right-hand side, and we'll just go over those questions one by one at the end of the presentation. So with that, I will leave it to Steve and David to kick us off.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Jonathan. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Harrison.
My name is David Couch.
You should already be somewhat familiar with the challenge, or at least have a sort of passing knowledge of what the VABeachBio Innovation Challenge is. And so what we're going to do today is kind of fill in the other half of, you've got the challenge, why Virginia Beach? And so David and I work for Virginia Beach Economic Development, which is a department of the city organization itself. And as part of that, we have developed a biomedical initiative. And so we're going to briefly walk you through where Virginia Beach is, if you're not familiar, some of our assets, and why it's a good place to start a biomedical company that we hope you will do through the Innovation Challenge. And if you've got questions, like Jonathan said, put them into that questions box, and we'll make sure to get those at the end, or our emails are up on the screen right now. So feel free to shoot us an email if you come up with a question later. So if you're not familiar, Virginia Beach is right in the center of the East Coast. We are about 3 hours south of Washington, D.C., 3 hours north of the Research Triangle, and we are right there, obviously, on the beach. So there's a few shots of Virginia Beach. We're known primarily probably for that photo on the bottom, which is our resort beach. We've also got a large business community, a large thriving military community, and a growing biomedical community as well. We're the most populous city in the state of Virginia, which a lot of people don't know. Our home town is about 450,000 people, but our metro area, which is sometimes called Hampton Roads, or coastal Virginia, is about 1.8 million people. So we're the biggest metro area between DC and Charlotte. We are home also to a lot of military personnel. Every branch of the military is represented in our region. Currently, there's about 86,000 active duty military personnel in the Virginia Beach metro area. And we're also home to more than 200,000 veterans. And that's where the VET challenge really comes in, because these inventions that Rosemary, Jonathan, and the team have sourced for us from various universities and federal labs all have to do with veteran-related healthcare and improving the lives of those who serve for the country. And so many of them live in this region, and that's really one of the reasons why we have honed in on this as the impetus for the challenge. We're also home to the biggest concentration of colleges in Virginia. There's more than 100,000 students enrolled in a college in our region, and it's anchored by 8 major universities, and they include the College of William & Mary, Old Dominion University, Hampton University, Christopher Newport University, Norfolk State University, and so on and so forth. We've also a few private schools as well. So there's a lot of universities that have talent that is something you could tap into. Eastern Virginia Medical School being maybe the chief among our bio assets that you'll want to lean on here in the challenge. We're traditionally known for defense and tourism, but we are a growing bio community. We're also a digital port city. We actually have a transatlantic cable that is laid from Spain right into Virginia Beach. It was laid by Microsoft, Facebook, and Telefonica. It will provide access to the fastest internet speed in the world. This cable alone carries the capacity of 50% of every other transatlantic cable ever laid. So it's 16 million times faster than an average home internet connection. And what that will essentially do is allow our biomedical park that we're building to have access to the highest speed network cable that you really can have. And we think that'll be a big advantage for big data analytics and various things like that in the bio field. Virginia is maybe not as well known in the biofield as our neighbors to the south and north, North Carolina and Maryland, but we are a pretty large bio community in our own right. There's 1,400 life science companies in Virginia that employ more than 26,000 people. That represents $8 billion in contributions to our economy. Obviously, as you all know, and why a reason the challenge is attractive is life science and bio are high-paying jobs, and that is the case in Virginia as well. And a lot of clinical trials take place here. There's a lot of federal labs, a lot of universities here, a lot of bio companies. So about every year, there's about 1,197, 1,200 clinical trials that take place across the Commonwealth.
So with that, the initiative, the bio initiative, started back in 2014 as an announcement from our mayor. We are, as Steve mentioned earlier in the process, we are a large defense community here in Hampton Roads. So with sequestration back in the 2013-2014 era, we wanted to diversify our economy, and with a focus on bioscience. We have a variety of assets already in the bioscience in our region, but we wanted to amplify that through a very pointed initiative. So with that, we came up with a task force, and the task force included local industry leaders. As mentioned here, we had Life Health, Centera, Operation Smile, a variety of universities such as Old Main University, William & Mary, all the way to Charlottesville to include UVA and VCU. So with all those stakeholders, we came up with a good recommendation for us to move forward with the bio initiative, and that has a dedicated website with VABeachBio.com, and it was recognized as a special purpose website through a industry standard for us, which is International Economic Development Council. So with that initiative, we found out we had some core competencies in the health disciplines, cardiovascular, diabetes, making up the metabolic syndrome umbrella, also neuroscience and oncology. So those would be the various health disciplines. But under that, as Steve has mentioned, we would look at translational research, pharma, medical device manufacturing. We have a lot of strengths. And with that also to big data analyticals and bioinformatics. So those are the things we're looking to pursue and amplify here, but also work with other companies that have interest in Virginia Beach. So with that, Virginia Beach, we do have a corridor which we're marketing, not the only place in Virginia Beach, but it is a corridor. So that includes such things as Tidewater Community College, the Advanced Technology Center, the TCC Health Professions facility, where we have a VABeach accelerator located within that, Operation Smile, ODU NSU Higher Ed facility, also the Lansdowne High School STEM Academy, Children's Hospital and King's Daughters Surgery Center, Centera Princeton Health Hospital, LifeNet headquarters. That's where they have the regenerative medicine and also their headquarters location. We do have Medical Facilities of America, and also CHPD has a sports medicine facility. And to the bottom right of that map, we also have a biomedical park, which we're going to be talking about here in just a second. So in that corridor, we mentioned briefly Operation Smile. What they do is their world headquarters, and it is an organization that goes out into the world and does educational opportunities, and also does various surgeries in impoverished countries, primarily cleft palate repair. So what they'll do is they'll take a team of doctors, nurses into a country, and will be there for 3 weeks to a month, teaching the local doctors certain surgery techniques, and also giving thousands of surgeries while they're there. And that's their world headquarters in Virginia Beach. LifeNet Health is the organ and tissue transplantation organization. It's the largest nonprofit organization of its type in the United States, and they also have a Center for Regenerative Medicine, which, if you really delve into that, that's really stem cell research, and they're looking to the future on how to grow organs and tissues. Tidewater Community College has a regional health profession center, which we talked about, which they're teaching entry-level health disciplines in our market, and also too, we have a biomedical wet lab accelerator within that space, which we offer to startup companies. And Centera Princeton Health Hospital is also in the market. Centera is a large player in the health industry here in the Hampton Roads market, so they're also in that biomedical corridor.
So the Virginia Beach Bio Accelerator is a startup space, essentially. This is something that's really going to come in as a key component to the challenge. So we have a beta site that David mentioned at Tidewater Community College. And what it is it's a lab, a wet lab space, and an office space that we offer to startup companies and small companies at a reduced rate. Now, this small one is actually going to make way for a much larger one in the biomedical park that we also mentioned. It will be in our first building in the biopark, and the Innovation Challenge graduates are going to be the first people that gain access to this accelerator. And so it'll have shared equipment, shared bench space, individual office space, shared conference space, and there will also be a mentorship component to it where there'll be essentially an operator for the space that has expertise with the equipment that will be in the lab and can help you or your company actually preserve the equipment, utilize the equipment, follow and develop your own standard operating procedures for safety and protocols and things like that. But you'll also gain access to university mentorship, and we'll announce what university is pairing with them in the coming months. But that's a piece that really we think will help your Innovation Challenge-based company thrive, because you'll be able to gain access to a wet lab and biomedical equipment, which, as you probably know, can be quite expensive for whoever in your company is actually doing the research with the invention, for a rate that we don't think you'd be able to find anywhere else on the East Coast.
It's sub-market rate.
Yeah, and so essentially this is a City of Virginia Beach initiative, and so our goal is to increase the footprint of the biosciences in our city. So Virginia Beach doesn't take equity in these companies. We are simply looking to sort of amplify the market, and the accelerator is a primary way that we think that can be done. And you'll see there are a few accelerators across the country. Johnson & Johnson does a really sort of premium level one with J Labs, which have partnered with Rosemary and the Center for Advancing Innovation before. So this is something that we really strive to offer as high of a level of expertise and sort of sophistication as we can. So stay tuned for more information about this accelerator. And the Innovation Park is a 155-acre park owned by the City of Virginia Beach, and we will house up to, or actually over, 1 million square feet of Class A office, wet lab, medical manufacturing, and industrial space. The park, this is an early rendering of the park, so it will actually be a little bit more dense than what you're seeing on your screen. But the goal for it is to be a very connected park, so it's not going to be a traditional suburban park. The example you're seeing on your screen is a bit more suburban than it will actually end up being, because there will be connectivity between the buildings. The region of the city that this is located in has a lot of retail and a lot of fitness and sports related amenities in addition to the biomedical amenities. And so we are going to connect those into the park so that if you choose to locate in the park, you have access to that sort of live, work, play environment that you hear so much about. We want you to have access to coffee shops, to retail stores, as well as to gyms and fitness options, walking trails, things like that, and even connectivity between buildings in the park eventually, so that various labs could be in different buildings and you can walk between them.
Which also enhances the networking opportunities within the park.
Yeah, we hear that a lot of science innovation comes from sort of accidental collaboration and spontaneous meetings and things like that. So we're setting up that environment so that it allows you to kind of work together and hopefully create something better than some of the parks. First building is actually, we're in the design phase of it right now. It will open about the same time that the Innovation Challenge ends, and that's where we mentioned the accelerator will go. We've partnered with a local developer called Olympia Development, and they've developed over 1 million square feet of office space across Virginia, and so they've certainly got tremendous expertise, and they've partnered with Lyle Design Architects, which designed all the lab spaces at LifeNet Health, most of the labs for Centera Healthcare. So we're bringing in some people that really know the market and will help to create a state-of-the-art bio building. And this is where we would offer you, as a graduate of the Innovation Challenge, a place to either fit in the accelerator or rent your own space if you so choose, and create your own lab or office.
Yeah, so this building will be a 60,000 square foot building, 20,000 square feet of floor, and our accelerator lab space will be 20,000 square feet. So we'll take up the floor of this building, which, as Steve mentioned, will create some additional opportunities for future expansion into this building or future buildings that will be built within the park. So VABeachBio Innovation Challenge. As the challenge is geared around startup innovations on veteran-related illnesses, and it's to boost the economy here in Virginia Beach by launching startup companies based off inventions that Jonathan and Rosemary and the team have selected as good fits for us. We're hoping to get at least 20 startup companies coming out of the challenge, and I think that's where most of the participants on the call are actually looking to move forward. So we're really excited about the challenge. There are a variety of organizations that the team has looked at: NIH, NASA Langley, various universities, as you can see here, Stanford, University of Virginia, Florida State. And so we'll have a lot of good opportunities for inventions to be looked at, and teams to be developed around, and business to be developed around that specific invention.
And as you probably know, if you've had any discussions with Center for Advancing Innovation, or CAI, this is not their first challenge. They've had some tremendous success with other challenges. One of the things we're excited about, though, is that they partnered with us for this first location-specific challenge, and it's really one of the first of its kind in the U.S. What this will do is take this idea of a challenge that has a specific discipline, but add to it the amenities that you can find in one community like Virginia Beach. And we wanted to just very quickly show you a video that explains a little bit more about the challenge. You'll hear from Rosemary Truman, who is the CEO of the Center for Advancing Innovation, as well as a few of the major CEOs of companies in Virginia Beach. You can find this video on VABeachBio.com as well if you'd like to go back to it afterwards. Just a quick programming note, once we hit play, you may have to unmute the audio on your screen. You'll see it in, I think, red, where it will tell you to unmute the audio. But we're going to go ahead and play the video, and it's about a 6-minute video, and then we'll come back on the other side of it to answer any questions that you might have.
The biotechnology field is growing, and in Virginia Beach, the culture is right. As a key research hub centrally located on the East Coast, we're thriving, and it's easy to see why. Our newest initiative, VABeachBio, combines a pro-business climate, low startup cost, and incentives targeted to biotech companies. We're putting innovation to work. Colleges and universities, hospitals, health-based nonprofits, and biotech powerhouses. In Virginia Beach, we are adding biotech manufacturing, pharma, research, and bioinformatic companies looking to thrive in this environment. The city has even dedicated 155 acres for the creation of a new biomedical park. Located in the heart of the biomedical corridor, the VABeachBio Innovation Park will house more than 1 million square feet of Class A lab, wet lab, office, and industrial space. True innovation is collaborative, and it's clear in the rising number of biotech companies building their headquarters in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach is proud to be partnering with the award-winning Center for Advancing Innovation. The two will create the Virginia Beach Bio Innovation Challenge. The challenge will be the first of its kind in the United States.
The Center for Advancing Innovation's mission is to identify breakthrough inventions and maximize their commercial potential. We have launched hundreds of companies all around the world for our startup challenges. But for the first time ever, we are partnering to create a whole challenge around one city. With the Virginia Beach Bio Innovation Challenge, entrepreneurs, industry, inventors, and academia are coming together to turn some of the most dynamic inventions into successful startup companies. Inventions are being sourced from federal research labs, hospitals, and universities. Teams will compete to commercialize inventions that have the potential to improve veterans' health in the fields of cardiovascular, diabetes, oncology, neurology, mental health, as well as regenerative medicine. An additional goal of this challenge is to capitalize on the enormous strength of the region's veteran talent base. Participants will be mentored by the best minds in the biomedical industry, including leaders from major life sciences companies, investors, serial entrepreneurs, foundation leadership, and universities.
So I'm Dr. Jerry Nadler, and I have two main roles here at EVMS. I'm the Vice Dean of Research and also the Chairman of the Department of Internal Medicine.
And I am Bill Wassilenko, the Senior Associate Dean for Research, working closely with Dr. Nadler to promote regional research development. EVMS is a community-based medical school that conducts research that addresses community health needs. We're excited to participate in this Virginia Beach Bio Innovation Challenge and partner with the Center for Advancing Innovation.
It's extremely important for this region to diversify its economy, and bioscience offers a wonderful opportunity for advancing jobs, improving the economy, and really taking advantage of the opportunities that our institutions have, including Eastern Virginia Medical School.
For us as a medical school, is a way to leverage the research that we have in several focal areas that directly impact veteran health. And the opportunity to partner with these startup companies will really accelerate the opportunity to come up with new treatments to improve veteran health and the health of their families as well.
So the challenge program that's being developed, the opportunity is really exciting and very important for an investigator, a researcher at an academic institution.
The city of Virginia Beach is doing a lot to advance the bioscience ecosystem here in our region. With the strong military and veteran presence that we have, the proximity to two federal laboratories, the presence of several bioscience companies like LifeNet Health and Saniel Bio, as well as the resources that our medical school can bring to partnerships with these startup companies. It's all good. It's a way to really catalyze the development of bioscience and the ultimate economic diversification of Hampton Roads. The challenge is on.
The Virginia Beach Bio Challenge is on.
Why should you enter? Teams coming into the challenge have an unparalleled opportunity to receive world-class mentoring, robust accelerator training, prize money, significant media attention, and most importantly, launch a company with seed funding to make an impact on human health. If you have the entrepreneurial spirit to run a company and are willing to do the work to make it successful, enter the challenge now. The challenge is on.
We're now accepting applications for the Virginia Beach Bio Innovation Challenge. Our goal is to select 20 winners who will ultimately launch their startups in Virginia Beach. To apply or to find out other ways you can be involved in the challenge, visit our website. The challenge is on.
All right, so hopefully that answered a few quick questions. Let me just share the screen again. And hopefully you can hear that and everything worked well. It looked like it was. That may be buffering a little bit. So essentially the challenge, as you saw, we'll have resources and mentors locally, like Dr. Nadler, Dr. Wassilenko, Dr. Ronnie Thomas from LifeNet Health, as well as some national and international players that CAI is bringing in and that you'll get more information about, including Pfizer Ventures, Novartis Ventures, what have you. But Virginia Beach, we think, is really a growing biomedical cluster. We also have a great cost of living, obviously a wonderful quality of life. It's not bad to live at the beach. We highly recommend it and hope that if you don't already live here that you'll certainly consider it. And this slide just essentially shows you the way that we break the VABeachBio initiative down primarily into our accelerator for startup companies, our innovation park, which is just developing right now, and this innovation challenge. And we are really excited to work with all of you. Hope that all of you start companies that will eventually locate here in Virginia Beach, and we'll be happy to answer any questions either now or at a later time. You can find us online at VABeachBio.com. It's got David's and my contact information there. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Jonathan, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Steve and David. So if you guys have any questions, please type it into the chat box on the right-hand side, and we'll be going through them one by one. And to start off, we have a question. In the space, are you guys going to be providing like an animal handling facility to plan for animal experimentation?
Go ahead. The facility we're going to have is not necessarily set up for vivarium space, but it will have basic equipment and office capacities such as receptionists, conference rooms, meeting spaces, office spaces if needed. So, but animal specific on the front end, no, we're planning to do something along that line in future development opportunities.
But what we can offer you is there are local universities and places that have vivariums, and essentially we'll be partnering with them. So if your company needs some kind of animal testing or work with animals of any kind, we will be able to refer you to a vivarium that's located very close by.
Mm-hmm.
Great. There's another question. At a high level, what is the amount of grants, funds available per company? So I think I can answer this. The prize money for the challenge for any of the companies that win the innovation challenge will be about $2,000 per team. And I think that's up to 20 teams. So that are the available prize disbursements for the innovation challenge itself.
Correct. But for us here in Virginia Beach, it's a long-term relationship with these companies. There is the original prize package, which Jonathan just mentioned, but as the companies grow and expand at significant levels, we continue to work with them, possibly on future incentive packages, and that's based off capital investment associated with the company, number of jobs being created, and also the associated salary levels. So we can look at those as the startup companies grow, and we hope that's the case. LifeNet Health, which was mentioned earlier on, is a good example of that. We've worked with them multiple times over the years. So we're hoping these companies grow and thrive.
And Virginia Beach is not going to be the only source of grants that you can get even from a governmental standpoint. So the Commonwealth of Virginia has a variety of grants, one of them being the Virginia Biosciences Health Research Consortium, or VBHRC, which is sometimes referred to as the Catalyst. They can provide grants for specific research, and a variety of local experts are actually on that board and will be here to give you advice on how to go through the process of getting a grant. But several Virginia Beach companies have won grants from VBHRC in recent years, and so we would help you gain access to that information and set you up for success, if at all possible, with any other grants in addition to the ones that the Challenge and Virginia Beach can provide you.
Great. Let's see here. So where do I find more information on the legal aspects, such as VABeachBio's typical equity interest? I believe you guys mentioned that you guys won't take equity interests.
No, we do not.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're a governmental entity. We're a part of the city of Virginia Beach. So yeah, the city will take no equity in the companies. And so it really is a somewhat unique experience and opportunity, because you can create some of these companies and there's not going to be a lot of equity taken out by the organizers of the challenge, which I believe is fairly rare. So we certainly hope that to see a lot of you participate.
Right. Let's see. Do you plan to expand into other areas such as AIDS or HIV?
We would. So the challenge has several opportunities that it presents. We've got a list of inventions that we have actually already placed on innovatevabeach.com that were screened by Jonathan and his team. But another opportunity is you could bring your own invention or come up with an invention type that you find interesting or have a particular area of expertise in, and Jonathan's team can help you find a matching invention. But if you happen to have something that's related to AIDS or HIV, or know of a topic area that you would like to enter the challenge with, you can certainly send that in your letter of interest, and we can help you get set up with that. So veteran-related healthcare is a somewhat umbrella term. So I mean, we're willing to diversify the types of things that come into the challenge. So if you've got an idea, I think we're certainly open to hearing it and working with you.
Yeah, so earlier on in the presentation, we talked about our 4 health disciplines, which we felt we were best suited for. cardiovascular diabetes, oncology, and neuroscience. It does not mean that we would not look at other things such as AIDS and HIV experimentation or products in the future as well.
Great. Let's see, how long is the challenge? So there is the key dates on the website. You can kind of take a look at the entire life cycle of the challenge. I believe if you're speaking about the kind of competition part of the challenge, that will span about 6 months, leading towards the end of this year into the beginning of next. And then in terms of us kind of being there for the startups throughout the life cycle, after the challenge, that will also occur as well. And that's our organization will continue to curate your companies and be there for any sort of mentorship and advice. So let's see. Can you ask help from NCA in El Paso, Texas for your team? Yeah, so you can certainly access any other organizations or facilities that you might have access to in your respective states. So feel free to reach out to any organizations throughout the challenge. Let's see. Is at least one veteran on a team a requirement? No, that is not a requirement for your teams.
Agreed.
Great.
Okay. Oh, there are more questions. Okay, 1 second. So are there any legal services or IP protection services available for the startup companies through the Bio Innovation Initiative? So for the Innovation Challenge, we will be providing legal services. That's through our partner that will be providing those services at a discounted rate. I don't know about the VABeach Accelerator. Do you guys have any legal or IP services that you guys provide through the biotech park?
No, we don't have specific services. We do have city attorney that handles our end of the stuff, but we do have partners in the community that we have worked with that were part of the original task force that are well versed in IP as these companies move forward, and they'll be glad to work with them on a discounted basis, at least on the front end. So I'm sure those opportunities are readily available.
If you locate in the VABeachBio Accelerator, that mentor company may have some information that they can share with you as well.
Right.
And so there'll be a variety of ways that we can provide you with recommendations for various legal services, as well as any other services you might need from accounting, what have you.
Yeah.
Great. Another question here: is the Innovation Challenge open to those outside the VA? Yes. So the Innovation Challenge is open to anyone outside the Virginia. And I believe the accelerator space and incubator space is also open to anyone outside the VA, or not the VA, but outside Virginia as well.
Yeah, that's correct. One of the sort of things that you'll sign up for it as part of the founders agreement, or the agreement that you'll sign when you enter the challenge, is the winning teams do have to have the headquarters of the company has to be located in Virginia Beach.
Majority interest.
Yeah, so 51% of the company has to be located in Virginia Beach, but not everybody has to be in Virginia Beach. So there are teams from past challenges that have been across multiple continents, and that is certainly fine. And we encourage you to bring in the teams that you feel most comfortable with. But yeah, part of the team that represents the controlling interest, the HQ, is required to be in Virginia Beach for a certain number of years. So.
Yeah. Okay. Another question is. Let's see. So will you be incorporating the winners of the challenge in the VA bio space, and will that be done on company's capital? So in short, yes, we will. Again, the sort of prize money that's offered in the challenge can be utilized towards incorporation, and it'll definitely cover incorporation costs. But we will be helping the teams that win, kind of with incorporation and with launching their company, and kind of going through all that entire process.
Yeah, and if you're also in that question referring to like a physical office space, the company winners will actually, yeah, I think I mentioned, be granted access, first access to the accelerator space. So, and that will be a sub-market rate that David mentioned.
Yep, so you look at it different ways. You're incorporating, and your company headquarters needs to be in Virginia Beach. The accelerator space and the lab space is an offering that we're putting out there for those companies to actually locate into. There are actually two different scenarios. The company to actually locate outside of the lab space if they want, but it's probably more advantageous to locate within it.
So Jonathan, I do notice there's a question that's down a little bit on the list about seed funding, and I know that that's part of the challenge, is that they'll have access to various venture capital firms and places that they'll be able to present to. And so you'll be introduced to people that could provide some seed funding, potentially, or venture capitalists, angel investors. So there'll be a variety of financial entities that will be involved in the challenge, and hopefully will permit the companies with opportunities to attain funding.
Yes, sorry, I missed that one. And to expand on that, there's a few partners that we've had with us throughout the various challenges that we've had. So one notable one is Pappas Ventures. They're quite close in North Carolina. MedImmune has been a long-standing partner with us. So we have a few of these partners that we'll bring in to take a look at the companies that we have, to kind of provide feedback on the company's pitches and the deliverables, and also potentially provide seed funding down the road. So let's see, what about the cost of operations? Will there need to be funding? So yes, cost of operations will be the responsibility of the startup. Again, that's sort of why we are going to be helping the teams and helping the companies that launch out of our challenges to find additional funds, whether that be from investors or whether that be non-dilutive grant funding or anything like that. So,
and that should be part of the business plan component of the challenge that you help with the government.
Mm-hmm. See, so what kind of support will be offered to clear devices with the FDA? On the challenge side of things, we will be kind of having webinars and some training on going through regulatory, going through approvals. We've had people from the FDA come on to a few of our webinars to kind of go over the process and that sort of thing. So in terms of support, we'll kind of offer assistance in terms of how to go about it. If there is need for additional help in terms of getting through to certain people at the FDA, we'll be able to connect you with people and that sort of thing. When is a company expected to hit production? I would say, with any startup, you would certainly want to. That's really up to you guys and part of your business plan that you would kind of develop throughout the challenge. Each device or each technology or each therapeutic has its own kind of R&D timeline. So, there's no expected time. It really depends on what technology you have, how quickly you guys decide to move, how much funding you guys get in between all of that. So all of that's going to vary. And so in short, there's no expected timing for that. Okay, let's see. Another question. I'm bringing in my own technology and I don't have a team. Do you help with team formation? So yes, you can join the competition as an individual, and we'll kind of take a look at your technology, take a look at your needs, and we'll help you find additional members to help you throughout the process. So would you guys still support a company that didn't win the competition if it's still a great invention / company? Yes. So, that will be done on a case-by-case basis, of course. But if a team doesn't win the competition, but you decide that your particular idea or company is still something you have passion towards and you want to launch, you're free to do so, and we'll still kind of be there for you guys to help with anything you guys might need in terms of advisory support.
As long as they're in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, and Jonathan, yeah, we'll be there even after the challenge wraps up to support these companies.
Yeah.
Whether you win or not, it won't matter to us as far as we are certainly happy to help you from the Virginia Beach standpoint. That's what we're here for the life cycle of your company. As long as we're here, if you're a Virginia Beach firm, we will provide the same services to you whether or not you win or don't win. And so even if you're interested in locating in the accelerator, if your company doesn't win, we would still offer you that, assuming there's available space, and be happy to provide you with any connections that we can.
Right. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it for now. So big thank you to Steve and Dave for giving us that presentation, and thank you guys for joining us. If you guys do have any additional questions, you guys are free to email me, and I'll either forward it to Steve and David if I can't answer it myself, or I'll just answer it accordingly. So thank you guys for joining us today.
Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to present to the group. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Look forward to working with all of you.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.